Yo guys, welcome back. We have the new update with the new stuff. We have Return of the King, the new selection pack that came to us. Obviously not that impactful, but we have the new support for Labyrinth. And as you have already seen in the title, we have reached, in the live stream, that was 73, close to 74% win rate with the new deck. And I quickly want to show you what this can look like. Notice here that at the moment I am playing a Dogmatica version, which I think is not necessary to play, but it's definitely nice. Why is it nice? It helps you going second a bit better, because if you go second and don't have an evenly matched, which you could also put in here just to have a better going second time, I would say. But the thing with the Nadir Servant or the whole Dogmatica line is that when you go second, you have the opportunity to start with your Nadir Servant, given you have it, and then just drop your Elder Entity and test, and then destroy one of your opponent's cards, also forcing your opponents to do some interaction or reaction, which then you can basically play off. This is the idea. This is why we are playing the Nadir package. You could definitely argue about putting one of the Nadir Servants out, or maybe putting another Dogmatica card in, like Maximus, or what is the other girl called? The other guy, girl, whatever it is. The Fleur de Lis, which is a monster negate if you have another Dogmatica. So that could also be quite nice. But this is like, you can decide whether you want to do it, whether you want to even play the Dogmatica package. Obviously, these are ultra rares, which honestly, somehow through some package over the time I have drawn this. I wasn't even aware that I had 3 Nadir Servant, but I have it. But obviously, this is not the focus card that we have new here, which is Transaction Rollback. I have a third one, which then I decided to put one out, to put, I think it was Cold Bias and Harpy's Feather Duster. So obviously, in my opinion, Transaction Rollback, definitely a really nice card. And when you were there on the release day of the pack, we had some really fun games when it came to the mirror, both of us having transaction rollbacks. And obviously, transaction rollback, when you are playing the mirror against another Labyrinth deck, then it's way better, because then you can also use the normal effect of this card. So if you're not aware, we can quickly read the card and understand why this is such a good card. Pay half your life points, then target one normal trap in your opponent's graveyard, except this one. This effect becomes that card's activation effect. So obviously, you can copy your opponent's traps, which is way more relevant in a big welcome mirror, I wanted to say, in a Labyrinth mirror, that is. And then you can banish this card from your graveyard and pay half your life points, so basically the same, then target one normal trap in your graveyard. This effect becomes that card's activation effect. So this is what you want to do with this card in an optimal world. Get this to your graveyard and then activate this in your graveyard to, for example, copy one of your big welcomes. This is the most common use case, but obviously it can work with every other normal trap that you have in your grave. For example, an Infinite Impermanence, or maybe a Dogmatica Punishment, a Destructive Daruma, Karma Cannon. Could also copy Welcome Labyrinth, but the basic idea is that you play your Welcome Labyrinth, the thing gets Ashed, Blossomed, or Ghost Belt, and then you still have your transaction rollback that you can then throw into the mix and activate, so that you can once again activate your big Welcome Labyrinth and then get it through, because this card cannot be Ashed or Ghost Belt, because this only gets the effect of the card you copy. This is not the card you copy, so there is no condition here that allows an Ash Blossom or a Ghost Belt to be activated. So we are playing 2 transaction rollbacks here. You can definitely play 3 transaction rollbacks. The one thing that it's a bit sad when it comes to transaction rollback and definitely makes the release a bit weaker is the fact that we have the Stovey and the Chandraglier 2. And this basically means that we have less options to get the transaction rollback into the grave, because the optimal scenario would be to have like a Chandraglier or a Labyrinth Stovey in your hand, and then have a transaction rollback in your hand, and then drop the transaction rollback with your Chandraglier or your Stovey to the grave, set one of your Labyrinth traps stuff, and then have the transaction rollback in the grave. This is the most optimal scenario. This is what you wanted to achieve with this card, and then you have it in the grave and can use it to copy one of your traps, which is very, very flexible. Let's say you have your Infinite Impermanence, your Karma Cannon, your Welcome Labyrinth, and your big Welcome, or let's say also your Punishment in the grave. Then you can decide whichever you want to use in this specific situation. So this is why this card is really strong. And if you ask me, let me know in the comments what you think, but I really like the artwork of the card Transaction Rollback, but that's not that important. We also have the pots at 1, so we can definitely see Labyrinth has gotten some hits in the past. I think this is still quite strong of a deck. And note here that this deck will get even more support in the April pack when the Unchained cards come out, because you can also play a little Unchained package in here, which allows you to basically end up on a blue dog here. We can take a look at on a big blue dog, you could say, not Unchained hashtag, but Unchained without an hashtag on this guy, right? And then if we get also the SP Little Knight, then this will be more effective, as this is an IP Masquerina with your opponent's monsters. This can also work with a Nightmare Unicorn, of course, but this will come in the future, and then we can also play this Unchained Labyrinth hybrid, and in that hybrid you would definitely not play the Nadir package. I have opted to put in Harpy's Feather Duster and 2 Ghost Bells over. I think there were Effect Veilers in here. This really depends on what you are facing. When we were playing in a Diamond, I was facing a lot of other Labyrinth decks. Now that I'm in Master, I'm definitely seeing more Snake Eye stuff, so seeing more Snake Eye stuff would mean that I would definitely put out the Duster again and put in something like you could put in a second Daruma Karma Cannon, but you can also just put in like an Effect Veiler, because the Effect Veiler is very effective in interrupting your opponent. Talking about that, let's just do that. So this is tech, right? So this is whatever you see on your ladder journey, and then adapt accordingly to that. The Ghost Bell can definitely remain, though I would say having an Effect Veiler is better than having a Ghost Bell against the Snake Eye stuff. This is effective against Snake Eyes, but not as effective as is an Effect Veiler. And obviously Effect Veiler is just a bit more generic in hitting other stuff here. So yeah, this is the current build that we are running with a Labyrinth here. And as I already said, there are different other builds that you can do. We can quickly take a look at this because I think this is very interesting. Hop over on Master Duel Meta in a second and see what other people are playing with the new cards here. Let me just quickly pull that up here, and we can see some decks from the tournaments. This is a win streak deck. Very interesting. A lot of people are running the Ariana right now. I myself am not the biggest fan. You can definitely go run the Eradicator Epidemic Virus, because you can copy it for free with the transaction rollback. Though I personally think this is a bit far off, so you will rarely ever come to the point that you can activate the transaction rollback with Eradicated Epidemic Virus in the graveyard. But obviously this can happen. I'm not a big fan of game plans that require you to do like 3 turns of something to then on the 4th turn achieve something, because I think the games just don't last long enough to be able to get to the point. You can definitely go for the Labyrinth, especially if you are facing a lot of mirrors. You definitely want the card. We have a Master 5 list here once again with the Ariana, which I'm not the biggest fan of the Ariana, but this is more of a pure trap. No, it's not. I was seeing the Lord of the Heavenly Prison and thought about this. I think Lord of the Heavenly Prison is a nice card, but definitely not a card that you really need to play in your main deck, because this protects you against stuff like Lightning Storm or Harpy's Feather Duster, but not a lot of people are playing this in their main deck, so I'm not quite sure whether you want Lord of Heavenly Prison. I would say this is not really necessary. Once again, the Nadir package at this time, as I already talked about, with 2 Nadir Servant, which is definitely something that you could do. You don't need 3 Nadir Servant. You can decide for yourself how big the package should be. Dimensional Barrier could also be very nice, though against Snake Eyes it's not that effective. And if you play in Master, you will mainly face Snake Eyes. Here's a Master 1 list that we, once again, the Ariane, not my kind, or not my type. Nibiru, we have Nibiru obviously against Snake Eyes, triple rollback, the Wacom Labyrinth. I think with the Labyrinth, if you're not playing the mirror, then your engine without Labyrinth is able to basically beat anything once you get going, and if you do not get going, then the Labyrinth also doesn't help you. So this is why I'm not the biggest fan of this personally. We have triple transaction rollback here. You can see every list playing the transaction rollback. Then we have some really strange Labyrinth list, which, what is this? Crazy. 50 cards, I don't know what this is. Master 5, once again with the Nadir package, transaction rollback at 3 here, and the field spell. So this looks closer to my list. Not quite sure why everyone is playing Dimensional Barrier or Core. Branded, we have Branded, but yeah, I guess you could run it for Branded. Kashtira, yeah, but the Kashtira engine is also strong without their XYZ, so I'm not sure whether you really want to play Dimensional Barrier. Triple evenly match, this is also a version that you could go for, as I already talked about, a stronger going second version here. I will jump over to my list and we will go over card by card in a second here. Just want to skip over some of these lists here, but everything looking kind of similar, not the biggest, differences here. Ice Dragon Prison, definitely something that you could go play. This is so cool about trap decks and Labyrinth in specific, that you can just put in whatever trap is good against the meta at the current moment. Anti-spell fragments and skill drain. You could definitely go for anti-spell fragments and skill drain, as you yourself are not really using spells. And obviously, skill drain is a card that you, in my opinion, you basically have to put in this deck, because flipping a skill drain in most cases is just game. But the problem obviously is when you go stack it and you draw it, then it's just super bad. We have Ghost Match, obviously something that you could go and run. Master 5 here. Okay. Trap Tracks. Okay, new card. Different Dimension Ground, also very nice against Snake Eyes, but the Karma Cannon is already enough in my opinion. But yeah, this is a list that we are running, and if you want to copy this list, at the moment I'm running 2 Effect Veilers over the Duster and the Ghost Spell you have just seen here, with a Labyrinth Kuklok, 3 Maxi, 2 Stovey Torvi, 3 Ash Blossom, 1 Ghost Spell and Haunted Mansion, 2. So the non-engine part here, just adjust this to whatever you are facing at the current moment. If you do not know what you will face the majority of time, go to Untapped GG and check their tier list, because there you can see what people are playing in which rank. We have 2 Labyrinth Chandelier, 1 Dogmatica Ecclesia, 3 Ariana, 1 Lovely, 2 Lady, 1 Pot of Extravagance, 3 Nadir Servant, 1 Pot of Prosperity, 2 Called By, which I think is very, very important to get rid of Ashes and Ghost Spells for your big welcomes, even though you have the transaction rollback now, obviously, which this is the use case for transaction rollback, but you are not always guaranteed to have transaction rollback and a big welcome. We have 3 Infinite Impermanence, 1 Dogmatica Punishment, 2 Welcome Labyrinth, 1 Destructive Daruma Karma Cannon, 3 Big Welcome, a True Transaction Rollback, 1 Elder Entity and Test, 1 Garua Wings of Resonating Life, 2 Golden Beast, Cloud Malon. This one was really nice. Wind Pegasus, adding this, getting this into the graveyard, because if something on the field is destroyed, you can banish this card from the grave and target one of your opponent's cards, shuffle it into the deck. Very strong, came up often. We have the triple Chaos Angel, which you don't need 3, but I have the normal Chaos Angel, the higher Angel, and then the Royal Finish one from the Anniversary Pack. I was really lucky with the Anniversary Pack getting the Duster and the Chaos Angel. 1 Artemis, the Magistus Moon, 1 Dark, 2 Muckraker, which is very important at points, 1 Underworld Goddess of the Close Words, and try Brigade Arms Boost Cephalos. Guys, let me know what you think of Labyrinth at the moment, what you think of the new update. Do you have fun, or are you... for me, it probably will be a month of playing less Master Duel and playing more the TCG, because I'm really not super hyped by all the new stuff that we have gotten. I really like Labyrinth. It's definitely one of my favorite decks, but at the moment I'm not super fond of playing it. So gonna be a calmer month for me, I guess. Let me know in the comments what you think of the upgrade. Thanks for being here. If you like my channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the thumbs up and the notification bell, and we will see each other in the next one.